Hey guys, Justin from Simplified Investing. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. This is our weekly watch list video highlighting a few stocks we are watching as well as a key market breakdown. So let's start with SPY from the weekly chart perspective. A pretty wide breakdown week here, and it comes from news. We had FOMC, and what the market didn't like this prior week is where they were mentioning that they aren't forecasting any rate cuts anymore into 2023 or 2024. They don't expect any inflation to come down and return to that baseline of 2% until 2025, which is a drastic change from what they were mentioning previously. Now that mentioning of holding rates higher, even a potential higher rate hike by 25 basis point potential, caused the market to go in a panic. Now we can note this by looking at TNX, which tracks the treasury yields. That one first being we are pushing to highs here, which is something we were not expecting. We gapped up off of FOMC as the market greatly shifted its sentiment towards being that we will have likely more rate hikes, or at least one more rate hike versus a rate cut, or a pause of which they were expecting into 2024 where we start the cutting cycle. The Fed did not confirm that, and Powell actually had a little bit of a change of tune when it comes to rate hikes. Now again, going into SPY, this is a breakdown, a net new weekly low. We could not hold this prior pivot low, which is very bearish. When we're looking for that trending structure, we get this low here, we get a higher low here. I did not want to see us close below this weekly low, which was around that 433.73 area. In my opinion, the path of least resistance is lower here. We're coming off this wide range red bar, some pretty significant selling pressure here on the daily. Let's go into that daily. Also note, we do have this weekly higher low. We tried to form a flag and then we broke down below this low, stopping out many orders and pushing this to the downside. Now into the daily. We get this gap down. We attempted to have an inside bar here on Friday, and then we push and close right near the low. If this was truly strong, this gap would have held here. We would have seen buying pressure on Thursday. Instead, we broke this prior pivot low from 818. We're cracking below this low back here from 626. Now, in my opinion, likely to make a move into 426. Below that, into that 422, 60-minute prior double top. And then below that, we could retest this big area down here at around 415. So for here, the path of least resistance as of right now is going to be lower unless we magically have a daily candle that confirms strength over 433.73, and then we would be going off of this pivot. But lower high, bullish or bearish breakdown here. Tempted to bounce, and then we get stuffed with a bearish engulfing bar here on 920. Gap down, follow through on Thursday, and then continuation lower here on Friday. So overall, macro, very, very weak. We also have those rising yields, also noted by TNX rising here, which is historically not very good. It forecasts higher rates on the way. Now, going into the VIX, we are testing the 1731 area that I've mentioned several times before. I want to see how we do. There's a lot of selling pressure from 1731 into 1818. We did push up and we rejected here on Friday. So watching this region come Monday for this 1731 to 1818 area for better direction here on the VIX. Want to go into a few individual names. I like this BABA gap up here, and I'll get rid of these levels down below as they're irrelevant now for this trade thesis. So we get this move, we get this gap higher, and a hold relative to the market weakness that we did see here on Friday. And that gap up and hold is really what I want to see. Now, what I want to see for a follow-through is not a bearish engulfing where we could potentially fill this gap. I want to see it hold this 4-hour retest region around 88.31. So if we go in here, let's go into that 4-hour. So we get this break and then this retest area around 88.31. Watching it hold above this area for a test up into 90, 90, 91, and then really that 91, 91 area, round it to that 92 whole psych region. Looking like we do have some strength on this one when we do go out into the weekly chart, trying to form a weekly high or low. You get this low here, a low here. The key would be then that follow through above this prior weekly candle high around that 88.31 area for that continuation move higher, potential into 92, and above that into this pivot right around 95.70 overhead. Another one, interesting one to keep on watch here, is going to be Google. And this one really comes from the daily chart. What I want to see is if we can reclaim above this pivot right here, or this gap, excuse me, above 133. If we fill or create a move or strength over this gap right here, I do think we can test up into this 134.82 area. Now, for Friday, I would have liked to see this close with much more strength than selling off near the close here. However, watching it again, 133, a very key inflection point. If we even go out here to the hourly, you can see reject, 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 reject. So if we come up here, I would want to see this one at least either break and retest back down or hold strength over that 133 area for that move higher up into that next target area around 135. So keeping that on watch will be one of my main watches this coming week. Now let's go out here and let's go into a third stock we are watching this week, and this one's going to be to the downside. It's going to be Target. This thing is getting hammered here, closing near the low. 6 cents off the low. We're rolling over. This 114.40 actually comes from the 10-year. So we go out here. We are at 52-week lows. We have to rely on that, but this looks very, very weak. I think we can come and test into this prior retest area around that 110 area, which is a psych region. Really what I would like to see is either, when we go into just the 1 year daily, either a bounce and reject at 114.40 to watch this roll over, or any sell side strength below 112.54 to take this down into that 110 area below. One more quick I want to watch is going to be Roku to the downside. Looks weak here. We attempted a bounce move on volume, complete bearish engulfing here on Friday. Any move below this candle low around 69.17 to 69.30 area, watching that short to the downside with potential down into that 67.50 and then 66 below. That being said, that wraps up our watch list for the week. If you did enjoy this video, if you could please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. I hope you guys all have a great weekend and look forward to trading with you all on Monday. Thank you.